All right, listen up. The first thing I want to remind you, and we talked about this on Friday, watch out for negatives. Remember, you can take an odd root of a negative number, but you can't take an even root of a negative number. It just doesn't work. So that's, as we go through these, I just want you to keep in mind that, all right? Now, we are going to say a little prayer for the smartboard, because if you remember Friday, it was a nightmare. It spazzed out on us, so we're going to try it today. Maybe it got rest over the weekend. Some of these you have already done. I got Mrs. Ulaga to send me her smart notes. We did those three right there and that number 4 down here. And that's as far as we got. But what I heard a little bit of already was, I forgot what we did Friday. So, don't put this on your paper. That says cube root of 125. Let's go down here and let's remember, this is just a refresher, the cube root of 125. I look for triplets because I'm taking a cube root. And if Kevin's already got it, but if I factor this, what's a number that'll go into 125? 5, so it's 5 times 25. I'm looking for triplets. Do I have any? Yep. 1, 2, I got triplets. So my answer is just 5 because nothing has to stay in the house, right? Now, that second question up there, I can't remember what it was. The square root of negative 81. Remember, you're going to think about that like this, right? Square root of 9, the square root of 81 is 9, and the square root of negative 1 is I, so that's 9i, right? Now, what if I gave you the cube root of negative 8? Now, I was thinking about this, and I think I'm going to do it the same way we do a square root of a negative. It's the cube root of negative 1 times the cube root of 8. Now, I want you to think about this. What? Well, is it I? And that's what we want to talk about for a second. What's negative 1 times negative 1? 1. What's 1 times negative 1? Wait a minute. So I can multiply negative 1 by itself 3 times and get negative 1? I sure can. So what's the cube root of negative 1? Negative 1. The cube root of negative 1 is negative 1. And what's the cube root of 8? 2. So negative 1 times 2. So the cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. You can take an odd root of a negative number, but you can't take an even root of a negative number. That's when you get I, okay? Mercy, mercy. Do you want to redo a couple that we did Friday, or you want to just jump into it? Trent says redo a couple. So you're saying redo a little bit as well? Let's look at your number 2. Now, you've got it in your notes. We're trying to simplify the 4th root. What am I looking for as I do 4th root? 4s. If you have 4 babies at a time, God bless your soul, it's called how many? Quadruplets. Are you guys too young to remember that Octomom or whatever she was called? Remember that? She had 8 babies at one time. Okay, 96. You got a calculator, go.
We never did a one.
I know, we didn't, no, wait.
Why didn't you write that way?
So, the request has been, let's go back to number 1. All right, now look, what root is number 1? What root? What's the address of the house? Square root. Oh, the square root of a negative. So let's think about that part as the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 128. Okay? Square root of negative 1 is I, so we know we're going to have an I in our answer. Now, if you need to, just look off your notes. Square root of 128. 2 and... Well, I'm going to go through the whole thing because some of you weren't here. And this is going to have to go sideways. I know this looks ridiculous. What am I looking for? Pairs. How many pairs of 2 do I have? 3. So what's going to come out? No. 2 times 2 times 2. 8's going to come out. So that's going to be 8 square roots of 2. Now, for those of you who weren't here, I'm going to show you originally how I taught taking the square root of x to the 5th, but then everybody figured it out pretty quick. If we write x to the 5th as, how many pairs of x's do you see? So what comes out? X squared, because x times x. So that's what we've got there. Y to the 12th. I do not want to write out 12 y's. Why? Why do we take half? Because how many pairs of y's do we have if we've got 12 of them? 6. So what's going to come out? Y to the 6th. Now, amidst all that stuff there, let's see if we can write down an answer. What's out of the house? 8i x squared y to the 6th. 8i x squared y to the 6th is all out of the house. And inside the house, and remember the address of the house is square root. So what's in the house? 2x. Now that was kind of my fault. I touched that accidentally. There's the answer right there. Okay, so let's try number 4. Number 2. Let's try number 2. Okay. Okay, we can do 8 and 12. That's fine. What are we looking for? Quads. We're looking for quads. We have any quads? What's going to come out of the house? A 2. What has to stay in the house? And the address of the house is 4th root. So that part's 2 times the 4th root of 6. What about x to the 8th? Why x squared? Because 4 goes in 8 2 times. Yeah, because 4 goes in 8 2 times. Or there are 2 groups of x of 4 x's. What about y to the 12th? Is y cubed. Right. So what have we got? 2x squared y cubed times the 4th root of 6. Is your memory coming back a little bit? All right. Slow? All right. That's as long as it's coming. Because I want you to have a good bit of time to do work on the worksheet, okay? So let's go down to number 5. Now, Megan asked, how many problems are we supposed to do on this page? And I think I had told you on Friday, 12. Huh? I'd said 12. Let's see how many problems are on here. Let's see how many problems. That's not the next page, is it? Okay, so if you need to take 2 pages to do this, let's just plan on doing 6 on each page, okay? No, let's just plan on finishing 5 and 6 on that page, and then we'll go to the next page and do 7 through 12.
Oh, that's why I didn't get this because I was in the play.
Right.
That's why I don't remember any of this. I was so confused as to why I couldn't remember.
That's it. That's right. All right. Number 4. Now, we did this one, but let's review it because it's a little different. What's the address of the house? Square root. So what am I looking for? Pairs. All right. Remember, when you have a fraction, you can break it up as the square root of the top times the square root of the bottom. Can we do either one of those? What's the square root of 4? So we know that that's 2 over the square root of x. And remember, there's some guy somewhere who said you can't do that. So we've got to do what we call rationalize. What do we do? I got to multiply top and bottom by square root of x. What have we got? 2 times the square root of x over x. And there's your answer right there. Now I want to show you something. I want you to look right here. Hello. Sorry. Why did we choose to multiply by square root of x? Can't be a square root, right? Now, but here's what I want you to think. When we do a square root, you said we're looking for pairs. So how many x's did we need down here if we already had 1? We needed 1 more, right? Okay. Now that leads us into number 5. What's the address of the house? Cube root. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? In terms of babies, I'm looking for triplets. Because that's what tends to be easy for people to remember. And if you don't want to remember it like that, that's fine. Whoops. I'm going to write this below. Now I'm going to split this up into numerator and denominator. Now please just be careful. Just work with me on this one. If we are looking for triplets, how many 3s do we have right there? Just 1. How many more do I need to bring it out of the house? I need 2 more. So what am I going to multiply by? The cube root of what? What? Why? What we're doing is we're going to multiply by the cube root of 9. Now, I know I'm writing 3 squared, but that's just for teaching purposes, I hope. Now, how many 3s are under here? There's 1 here, and how many here? So how many total? How many total 3s? 3 of them. Can he come out of the house? Yes. So the bottom now is just going to be 3. Now let's look at the top. What in the world is in the top? 2x times 9. What's 2x times 9? 18x. So this is the cube root of 18x. Now you better be darn sure. Can I simplify the cube root of 18? Let's go over here to the side. 6 and 3. Does 18 have triplets in factors? No. So what? Right, I cannot simplify. There's your simplified answer right there. Yeah, these are a little weird. That's why it just seems to work better when I talk about babies. But if you don't want to talk about babies, that's totally fine. Okay. You can talk about them, just don't have them. Not yet. Okay. All right, number 6. Number 6. What are we looking for? Quadruplets. Well, mercy. Is there anything I can simplify at this point? Can I simplify the 4th root of w to the 10th? Does that have any quads? Why does it have 2? Yeah. If there are 10 w's, does it have any pairs? I mean, any quads? I got 2 sets, right? So what's going to come out? W squared. So this would be w squared times the address of the house is 4th root. The 4th root of what? Because 2 w's had to stay home, right? Please don't make that look like w to the 24th. Please make sure that you have those with a dot between them so you can tell that they're separate. Now the bottom. All right. I'm going to do this a little weird. If you factor 4, does 4 have, do you have any quads you can pull out? No. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write this like this. Why do you think I wrote it like that? Why do you think I wrote the bottom like that? I need to see how many 2's I've got so I can see how many more 2's I need. How many more 2's do I need? I need 2 more 2's. How many z's do I need? I need 2 more z's. So what am I going to multiply by? The 4th root. The address doesn't change. I need to multiply by what I still need in order to get them out of the house. So what do I need to multiply by? 2 squared times z squared. And I got to do that top and bottom, correct? 4th root of. This is the hardest kind you're going to do right here. And if you can master this part, you got it. All right, now let's see what in the world we got here. Okay, what's in the numerator? I got a w squared times the 4th root of w squared times the 4th root of, and what's 2 squared? 4. So let's just write this down. I got w squared times the 4th root of 4 w squared z squared. Are you okay? Over. Now what have we got in the bottom? What have we got in the bottom? Give it a whirl. Give it a try. How many 2's are in the bottom? How many 2's are in the bottom? I've got 2 squared and I've got 2 squared. I got 4 in the bottom. I got 2 and 2. Do I have quads of 2? How many quads do I have? Just 1. So a 2 is going to come out. Also in the bottom, I've got how many z's are sitting right there? 2. And how many z's are sitting right there? 2. So how many z's do I have? 4. Is that a quad? Will it come out? Okay. Sorry? Good? Okay, we're going to go to the next page, and I want you to do this one. Look at number 7. The square root of 20a cubed b. Square root. The answer to this is 5. No, snap. 5 stays home. Oops. The square root of 20 is 2 times the square root of 5, right? The square root of a cubed. What's the matter with you, Stennett? The square root of a cubed. This is the part that I'm seeing that y'all having trouble with. How many pairs do you see? So what's going to come out if you just see one pair? And what has to stay home? An A. Then you got the square root of B, which just has to stay home because he doesn't have a pair. So we've got 2A, right, times the square root of 5AB. You see where it's just A, not A squared? Okay. Try number 8. Now number 8 says the cube root of 24. Cube root of 24. 2 times the cube root of 3. Yeah. 2 times the cube root of 3. Now listen, again, please don't do this. Do you see why I want you to put the dot in there for times? Because I don't know if that's 2 cubed or the cube root of 3. So please put the dot in there. All right, let's work through number 9 together because we've never looked for this many before. What am I looking for? Yeah, I'm looking for the answer. I'll give you that one. 5, no. 5. What's 5? Quintuplets. Yeah, I'm looking for 5s. Have mercy. Looking for 5s. Now, let's talk about negative 64. I want you to break that like so when you have a negative. Is the 5th root of negative 1 I or negative 1? Negative 1. Now, go with 64. 2 and 32, 2 and 16. Yeah, 8 times 8 is 64. How many 2's do you get? You get 6. We're looking for... Gotcha. We're looking for how many? 5. Do we have a group of 5 2's? Yes. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a 2 is going to come out, right? Negative 1 times 2. So I'm going to have a negative 2. What had to stay in the house there? A 2. And what's the address of the house? 5th root. Do you understand the number part? Okay, now let's go to the variable part. How many A's have we got? 7. How many do we need? So how many groups of 5 do we have? 1. So what's going to come out? How many had to stay home? B's. How many B's we got? How many? We've got 1 full group, don't we? How many had to stay home? None. So B. What's out of the house? Negative 2 AB times the 5th root of 2a squared.
What is the 2x squared?
A to the 7th. I'm just going to write them down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's a group of 5. So I had one group of 5. So one group comes out. So 1a comes out. What was left at home was a times a, which is a squared. So you can think of it like this. 5 goes into 7 one time, so 1a is going to come out.
Where's the 2?
This here or this here?
The 2, like 2a.
From the 64.
There's only one.
It's this one and this
I don't
one.
understand. I need to know.
Listen, I'll help you. I'll help you. Let's see if we can wrap up these last 3 here in the next few minutes, and then you can have half an hour to work, okay? Because that's what we need. Some of you have got this, and a few of you are still struggling a little bit. That's okay. We'll get it. All right, number 10. I hope number 10 looks similar to number 4. Fraction. What do you do with a fraction? Split them. Please split them. This is going to be square root of a divided by the square root of 2. Okay. Will either one of those simplify right now? No. So what's the problem? Yeah, I got to get rid of that square root of 2. How many 2's do I have on the bottom? Just 1. How many do I need to pull it out of the house? I need 2, so I need how many more? 1 more. So what am I going to multiply top and bottom by if I just need 1 more?
So would it, like, the top part be square root of 2?
Yes. The top part,
Would just be 2. That would be 2.
that's it. That's it. That's it. Let's do these last 2 here real quick, okay? Cube root of 4 divided by the cube root of 2x. Okay, this is just like number 5. Can any of those simplify right now? No. I need to multiply the bottom by y2 squared. Because I need, because, what did I say? We've got 1, 2, we need 2 more. Very good. Well done. Well done. That's what we're going to multiply by. Here, let me raise it up. All right. What have we got here? On the top, everything's under a cube root, so I can multiply it together. 4 times 4 is 16x squared over it's not a distribute because it's not a distribute, it's just straight out multiply. 4 times x squared, 16x squared.
So next one would be 8x, or
What's in the bottom? 2, yeah. What's in the bottom? How many 2's do I have? 3. How many am I looking for? 3. Mm-hmm. Now, this is where you're going to go stark raving mad, okay? Will any of that simplify? Uh-huh. I want you to look at this piece right here. You can do it. I know it's hard. You can do it. Not square root. What's the address of the house? Cube root. Because I'm looking for triplets, right? 2. Yes, 2 times the cube root of 2x squared. Do you see anything? What do you see? The 2's will factor out. So cube root, this is your answer, okay? The cube root of 2x squared over x. Yeah, mm-hmm. But you can do it one step at a time, okay? You can do this. All right, I think we have one more to look at. Number 12 is no harder than number 11, I promise you that. All right, look at number 12. What are we looking for? I'm not looking for triplets. Quads. Looking for quads. Do you see anything that's got a quad right now? No. Good, Trent. Yes. Yes. Because how many 3's do I have right here? 1. How many more do I need? 3. How many z's do I have here? 3. How many do I need? 1 more, and that's a really ugly z. Thank you, dear. Okay. 4th root of. What's that numerator look like? Ugly? It's not as ugly as the last one. I got a w cubed times 3 cubed. 27. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So I got w cubed times 27 times z. Over what? 3z. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you your assignment. If you still are kind of struggling with this, if your thumb is down here, excuse me, or kind of in here, kind of going, you know, I'll gather you up and we'll practice a little more, and I'll see where your issues are, and we'll get them fixed.